Welcome to the App Advisory Show, your fortnightly dose of all things cloud accounting, apps, and app advisory.
Hey guys, Matt here again. So this is session 3 around the ultimate guide to app advisory. So in episode session 2, we were talking around what the services were and some of the pricing. But what I want to talk to you today about is what we start to track with firms is if you start defining these services properly and building processes and resourcing, we start to then track with firms about the return on investment, which is what we were originally speaking about in this area. So firms are giving away a lot, not charging it. And I think some of the charging issue is down to maybe not messaging to the client exactly what's involved. I see a lot of people go, oh, we'll just do a move to cloud accounting system, whatever. And ultimately, there's a lot more to that if we were going through that, okay? So essentially, you've really got to understand what those services are and really show the value to the client of what those services entail. So you could be giving away money, you should be checking that. But ultimately, we start to check people on a monthly app advisory revenue for those services. So we've got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 and 4, tier 5 and 6. But essentially, what we're doing is starting to build firms up that I think most firms who take seriously can do £500 a month, and you should be tracking this as a different revenue stream to whatever you normally put it all in. That's one of the problems firms have at the moment is, I say, how much are you making on this? We don't know, it's all bundled in on fees. So make sure you can track it separately, even if it's very, very crude how you do it on a basic spreadsheet or a list. But start to track what you're charging for and what that amounts to. So tier 1's up to £500 a month. Tier 2 is £2,000 per month. Tiers 3 and 4 are up to the £10,000, and tiers 5 and 6 is up to the £20,000, £40,000 a month difference, okay? Now, I work on, we take a 3-month average to get the figure, so it's no point having one really good month and then we go quiet for a couple of months. We want to keep this consistent, so we start to track that. So that's one of the areas that we start to really give clients an idea of progress, give firms an idea of progress when they're running through this, and you can self-regulate on that if you like, if you were looking at that yourself at the moment, okay? Now, one of the main things that we found in general with cloud accounting, I've reviewed loads of SMEs cloud accounting, I've reviewed accounting firms, cloud accounting setups, and I've got firms to check their own as well, right? One of the key problems we've got this level of cloud adoption, which is so basic, and we're just not really taking any benefit out of it. For some of the firms I've seen, I'm honestly like, I'm not even sure you should even bother going to cloud because you would have been better on a spreadsheet because you're just not using the cloud how it's meant to be used. And the problem is with that is that the adoption of cloud has taken place, but the processes haven't changed. So for example, we are still getting data in for VAT returns or GST or whatever your regional equivalent of VAT is in the UK. We're still getting those in at the end of the quarter, and then it's a mad rush. We still have those VAT spikes. And that's because our process hasn't changed in order to tell the client that as soon as you get a purchase invoice in or any data that we need in, can you make it available to us using the app or whatever the new process is? So we're not doing that. So ultimately, it's a little bit better, but it's nowhere near what it should be. A lot of this software is classed as real-time. Very little of it is real-time. So let me talk you through the cloud accounting adoption that I speak about, CAP levels, which is cloud accounting platform. Level 0.5 is where a firm has got cloud accounting, but they are not really using it at all in terms of a real-time. When I say real-time, even to a level of getting the data in monthly, so that we can be reasonably in tune with where the client is, okay? So what we'll find with that is it'll be essentially, we're still taking data. It's very much a compliance-led deadline, so it's going to be VAT or annual accounts, and that will then lead. We still might be using some sort of tools to get information in, like invoice automation, for example, which is your receipt bank, your HubDoc, your auto entry, those types of tools. You might be using those, but you still use them in a quarterly manner rather than a real-time manner, okay? So that's where 0.5 is. It's essentially, we're just using the cloud accounting systems, but it's very, very manual. We're really not adopting that. Now, level 1, which is what we get a lot of firms to move towards, is we've got bank feeds in place for majority of clients that we can get. We've got invoice automation, so one of those tools which is bringing the data in, and we are processing that data within the cloud accounting system a minimum of monthly, 12 times a year, not 4 times a year. So the main difference between 0.5 is the frequency and the way we get data in, okay? But essentially, when you're at level 1, you're at a point of gaining the efficiencies, gaining quality and up-to-date data, which should really flatten out VAT or GST on annual accounts processes, and also give you insights monthly, which means you can be proactive with clients, okay? And I call this more advisor time, whereas I call level 0.5 compliance time. The compliance deadlines lead us on this, okay? So that level 1 is about just getting good quality data regularly, flattening out some of our compliance-led times, and being more proactive because we've got the data there, and that the data is the most interesting part for our clients, right? And when I mean data, not just the standard year-end and VAT return data or GST return data, but actually the data, some of the insights we've got in there, which are much more up to date. So it could be around credit control, it could be around growth in revenue, etc., or actually reduction, whatever it might be. There's some ratios you can start to track and see there, which is really exciting. And actually you can identify unknown problems to the client and be seen as really proactive with your assistance. Okay, level 2, this is where we start to automate the finance function. So this is things where we get into expenses and credit control and making sure they're getting paid in the best manner, making sure that they've got any reports that they need. So this is really the finance function, payroll as well in there. We've got a whole list of it later on in the book and the AppStack template that you can look at. But essentially this is about, great, we've got that level of data at level 1. Now we're going to improve their client experience, which is level 2. So not every client will need a bunch of apps, but they might need 1 or 2, and they might need some assistance in how they use the existing system. But essentially, this is much more about how they're utilising and using the systems, because the data is coming in and we've got the insights, and we can do the standard sort of output with the majority of our clients, okay? And then I've got level 3. I don't discuss it in the book too much, but level 3 is essentially when you start to go a bit more sector-based with the operational systems. So you're talking about stock and job management, till systems, booking systems, whatever it might be, agriculture again. You can start to get a bit more specific in which sectors you want to then start work with. So you've got 0.5 is very basic adoption of cloud accounting. Level 1 is where we start to get it really rock and roll in terms of, for us as a firm, we start to get the efficiency, but then for clients, we've got insights that we can talk to them about. Level 2 is about then adopting a more digital finance function. And level 3 is getting engaged with the sector-based systems which integrate with this great cloud accounting world, okay? Just check the time, guys, okay? So I hope that gives you an idea of the opportunity, right? We've got great opportunity with services. So that's a revenue builder, and it can be a new stream, and it's a new type of advisory that you can take to clients. And I think what we'll find with that is that attracts new clients and retains and attracts staff as well, because we've got people who are in these positions who can see where it might go, but just can't realise it. And it's because it's not really fully understood by the firm. So that's one part of it. The other part is the efficiency element. If we get much better adoption, and you've got that 0.5 and 1, when we get to 1, there's more efficiency and more insight to be given. But the reason we've got 0.5 is because the adoption's not right in the first place. We haven't defined what good adoption is. So what we need to be doing is define what good adoption is. And your 0.5 to 1 project should be a one-off piece of work, because everyone else who comes in will be coming in at cap level 1, that level of regular, at least monthly processing. We've got bank feeds and we've got invoice automation doing the majority of the data entry for us, okay? So there's your 2. You've got revenue stream and you've got efficiency improvements. And actually efficiency improvements gives you better data, gives you better insight. You start to become more proactive. Okay, guys, that's enough for session 3 on the Ultimate Guide to App Advisory. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next session. Cheers.